अर्पिता अध्यात्मस भगवती. So to whom is referred here? Bhagavati arpit adhyatmas. Adhyatmat means, adhyatma has multiple meaning. Here it's called mind. Arpita. Arpita means absorbed. So mind was absorbed where? Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Lord. So here it is mentioned that the Sut Goswami's mind was fully absorbed in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Ananyas chintanto mam e jana pari upasate tesam satat yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam मच्चित्ता मतगत प्राण बुद्धियंतस परस्परम कथयंतस क्षमाम नित्यम तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ते च. Devotee's mind is always absorbed on the Lord. Krishna being absolute, his gun, naam, leela or his work is non-different. And degree of absorption it depends on our purity of the heart. Anna vilashita sunyam bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakli asant Krishna bhakt nishkam atev shant भोगेश्वर प्रशक्ता नाम तापित चेतसाम व्योसात्मका बुद्धि समाधो ना विधीयते. Unless or until we are completely out of sense gratification thought, we can never absorb purely in Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita says, what is sloka? Unless we come out from the sinful activities, tesam tunt antagatam papam e janana punya karmana. Papa means sense gratification. Any work which we do, if it is meant for my enjoyment, that is called kama. At indriya priti vancha tare bali kama Krishna indriya priti ichha dhare premana. So as per action, may not be much valued unless our completely what consciousness we are doing that action. 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, no action can bind Krishna. And if one knows, even that, knows means completely faith, no action can bind Krishna, even the person who have that knowledge no action can bind him as well. Limpanti, cannot. So here we see Sud Goswami was, his mind was fully. See the connection between the outer world and the soul. Madhu Pandit Prabhu always says, what is the connection? Our attention. If you want to serve Krishna with any capacity, it's depending on our attention. No? That's the reason we say attentive chanting. So not only chanting, any work which we do, what is our intention? What is our attention? Then further says, Harir Dhrat Krol Tano. Krol means boar, Dhrita means assumed, Tano means the body. Why Krishna assumed the form of a boar? In the first canto, third chapter, Prabhupada writes in one of the purport, Krishna incarnates or take birth or descent in all the species of life. 84 lakhs varieties of life exist. So Krishna descend in everything. So particular boar, he descended like Prabhupada gives in one of the lecture. Generally boar are find in a very dirty place and pick up something from the dirty place. So Krishna also took the similar form, but it's not a boar. Resembling that form. Because it was Nisam Gor Uddharanam Rasatalat. रसातल में पृथ्वी को किसने भेज दिया था वहाँ? हिरण्याक्ष. So Uddharanam, to save, to deliver earth. So that particular form Krishna took. That is called Leelam Hiranyaksham Avagyahatam. And how the Lord killed the Hiranyaksham? By sporting. And Avagyahatam, Hatam means killing. Avagya means indifferently, neglectfully. When Krishna descends, and more so when he has to kill the demon, it's not he has to put some lot of effort to kill the demon. It may look like, but that is a sporting mood. Like Nrsimha came, and even Barha also, they born carnation. That movie was saying a lot of fight. That is for Lord to entertain. And the positions of the Lord is beyond our imagination. And all the qualities of the Lord, His compassion, His beauty, His love and affection towards His devotees is unparalleled. And whatever the Lord does is so mayaya. Under the internal energy, so mayaya. Actually, everything is Krishna's maya. External, internal, marginal, all are so maya. But here is particular means his internal potency. So, Prabhupada is writing the purport. It is stated here that Lord assumed the form of a boar by His own potency. His form is actually the form, His form is not actually the form of a conditioned soul. See, we get this body because of our karmas and desire. Prabhupada says there are two parameters, karma and also desire, kind of inclination, kind of pravritti we develop, accordingly we get a certain body. Prabhupada says, no, if you're working hard, you get a donkey's body. If somebody want to eat meat, he will get a tiger body. So kind of inclinations we have on pravritti and our karmas. So we are forced to get this body, material body. But so it is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the soul develop a desire, that pravritti inclination, according to that we get a body, so that we can fulfill that desire. And is inspired to do certain karma to fulfill that desire. So if we have a material desire, we will be forced to get material body. On the contrary, if we have only spiritual desire, then automatically we will get a spiritual body. So our body depends on our inclination, our desire. So that's if purify our desire means we all get rid of material desire and the spiritual will go back to Godhead. Because we can have a spiritual body. So Prabhupada says, even if we have a tinge of material desire, we cannot go back to Krishna. A conditioned soul is forced to accept a particular type of body by the higher authority of material laws. But here it is clearly stated that the Lord was not forced to accept the form of a boar by external power. So Krishna's forms are Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadi, Ananta Rupam, varieties form. And Prabhupada writes in the 4.5 purport of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's, there is no difference between the body and the soul. But we have a body and soul. Even if we go to spiritual world, there's a difference. Only Krishna. That to Vishnu Tattvas, there's no difference between the body and the soul. The form of the Lord, therefore, can never be consummate. But Mayavadis, Prabhupada has given the example, have a wrong conception. They think when the Lord comes, He accepts the material body. That's the reason they think we are all the Lord's. Param Brahma, when he comes, so we become under the grip of Maya. But even logically it's not right. How can a Param Brahma can come under the control of Maya? So I will just read the purport of 4 point. You know how the context begin with in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Evam vivasvati yogam proktavan. So he says, Krishna says, this knowledge I give it to Sun God. Then Manu, then Akshavaku, it was coming. When evam parampara praptam evam raj sakalena mehta no yoganasta, then parampara was broken. Then I have to come again to speak. And I speaking to you because your devotees and my friend. Then Arjuna got a doubt. Hey Krishna, we all took almost same time birth. How can you say that? You spoke to the Sun God is so many millions of years before. Then what Krishna says? Krishna explained that Bahuni mi biti tani janmani tav charjana tanyam ved sarvani natam bet param tapa. So Bhagwan बोल रहे हैं, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you can't. O subduer of enemy. So even he is the eternal associate of Krishna. Who? Arjuna. Still, he can be no match with the Krishna. Prabhupada writes in purport, in the Vedas also it is said that the Lord, although one without a second, manifests himself in innumerable form. He is a one. It is a multiple form. So it's very good analogies there. Prabhupada always quotes this. He is like a Vedurya stone. Now Vedurya stone means which changes color yet still remains the one. If you put a Vedurya stone, if you see it looks different. If you see from this angle, it looks different. Different angles, it looks different. But it is one. So same way, Advaita Achyuta, Krishna is a multiple form, but they are still the one. There's no difference. There's no call to Atma. There's only one super soul. She is one without a second. He is like the Vedurya stone, which changes color, yet still remains one. All those multi-forms are understood by the pure unallied devotees, but not by simply studying of the Vedas. Vedishu durlavam adurlavam atma bhakto. See, understand Krishna is not so easy. And Prabhupada says, we can never understand Krishna by our own effort. Ataha Krishna sinamadi na bhavit grayam indra sevan mukhi jivado swam spurtati yada. Krishna has to reveal. We have to come to the platform where Krishna reveals. Then only we can understand Krishna. Even we do chanting, we rendering services. It's not that by our efforts we can understand Krishna. Then how we can understand? Our inclination to know Krishna. Our inclination to serve Krishna. This is very important when we render service and what kind of consciousness we are carrying. All those multi-forms are understood by the pure unallied devotees, but not by simply studying the Veda. Devotees like Arjuna are constant companion of the Lord, and whenever the Lord incarnates, the associate devotees also incarnates in order to serve the Lord in different capacities. Arjuna is one of these devotees, constant associate. In this verse, it is understood that some millions of years ago, when Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivashvan, Arjuna, in a different capacity, was also present. See, Arjuna is a very special position. Prabhupada writes one of the elsewhere also. But the difference between the Lord and Arjuna is that Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjuna could not remember. That is the difference between the part and parcel living entity and the Supreme Lord. Although Arjuna is addressed herein as the mighty hero who could subdue the enemies, he is unable to recall what had happened in his various past births. Therefore, living entity, however great he may be in the material estimation, can never equal the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is a constant companion of the Lord is certainly liberated person, but he cannot be equal to the Lord. The Lord is described in Brahma Samhita as infallible Achyuta, which means he never forgets himself, even though he is in material contact. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respect, even if the living entity is as liberated as Arjuna. So the Krishna's position is always unique. Asam Urdhava, no one can be greater and even equal than Krishna. But that Krishna becomes subservient to his devotees. He likes to serve his devotees. And Prabhupada says, if we are very pure in our consciousness, and if we want to render the service, all the resources provided by the Lord, undoubtedly. So if we have a pure desire to serve Prabhupada movement, Krishna will be much more happy to give whatever required. Although Arjuna, whereas a non-devotee or a demon cannot understand this transcendental. Consequently, this description of Gita cannot be understood by demonic brain. Demonic brain means who indulge in sense gratification. The definition of demon does not, like Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Raman, Kumbhakarna, they were extremely knowledgeable person. Lot of pious activities, a lot of yagya and other things they were doing. And Ramana is one of the great devotees of Lord Shiva, Hiranyakashipu, Brahma, they all that. But because the center was my happiness, my pleasure, Krishna remembered acts which were performed by many millions of years before. But Arjuna could not, despite the fact that both Krishna and Arjuna were eternal in nature. So we may also note here in that living entity forgets everything due to changing the body. We keep changing. But the Lord remembers because he does not change his Satchit Ananda body. He is Advaita, which means there is no discrimination, there is no distinction between his body and himself. Everything in relation to him is spirit, whereas the conditioned soul is different from his material body. Because the Lord's body and self are identical, his position is always different from that the ordinary living entity. Even when he descended to material world. So when Krishna descended, Ajopi san abhyatama bhutanam isropi san prakritim swan adhisthaya sambhava atmaya. Ajo api. Api means although, ajo means Krishna is unborn. And abhyatma, he never deteriorate. Bhutanam isropi san, and he is the Lord of every jiva. Prakatim swan adhisthaya. He remains always in transcendental position. Although I am unborn, my transcendental body never deteriorates. Although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So the Krishna's body is very, very different from any other body. Prabhupada writes in one place, the body of Krishna, how delicate it is being given through the one example. A person is called mild when he cannot even bear the touch of the most soft thing. And it described that every part of Krishna's body was so soft that even at the touch of a newly grown leaves, the color of the touched part of his skin would change. At this Kishora age, Krishna's endeavors were always bent towards arranging the rasa dance as well as towards killing the demons in the forest of Vrindavana. While Krishna was engaged in enjoying with the boys and girls within the forest of Vrindavana, Kansa used to send associates to kill Krishna, and Krishna would show his progress by killing them. So Krishna's body is very, when Krishna used to kill, is not efforts, like Prabhupada mentioned on the purport of, I think, third canto. Like Krishna was killing demons like a toys. Somebody like Prabhupada is again, like he's a material uncle sending some toys and he's killing like that kind of for the lords. Krishna appears in this material world in his original eternal form. With two hands holding a flute, he appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by material world. So the original form of Supreme Brahman Krishna is two-handed form of Krishna. So Mayavadi says the Supreme Brahman takes the form, but Prabhupada and Krishna refute the argument. So it is said that Abhyaktam Vyaktim Apannam Mannate Mam Abuddhaya. Abhyaktam Vyaktam Apannam Manyate. So Mayavadi, they think Abhyakta has become Vyakta because of Abuddhaya. Param Bhavam Ajananto Mam Abhyam Anuttamam. So unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality due to their small knowledge. They do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So those who are worshipper of demigods have been described as less intelligent person, and here the impersonal all described as well. So the Lord Krishna in his personal form is here speaking before Arjuna, and is still due to ignorant impersonal argues that Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. Yamunacharya, a great devotee of the Lord, in the disciplic section of Ramanacharya, has written a very appropriate verse in this connection. My dear Lord, devotees like Vyasadeva and Narada know you to be personality of Godhead. By understanding different Vedic literature, one can come to know your characteristics, your form, your activities, and one can thus understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But those who are in modes of passion, ignorance, the demons, the non-devotees, cannot understand you. They are unable to understand you. However expert such non-devotees may be in discussing Vedanta and Upanishad and other Vedic literature, it is not possible for them to understand personality of Godhead. So, so understanding Krishna is not so easy, but it can be understood, or we can understand him by his mercy. My dear Brahmana, austerities in the form of meditation is my heart. Now, Krishna himself is saying, austerities in the form of meditation is my heart. Vedic knowledge in the form of hymns and mantras constitutes my body, and spiritual activities and ecstatic emotions are my actual form. The ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices, when properly conducted, are various limbs of my body. The unseen good fortune proceeding from pious or spiritual activities constitute my mind. And so like this in the Bhagavatam, one of the purport, see, being a person, he is not person like us. So when we think of person, we immediately put a mapping like us. According to the Mayavada Vedantis, living entity's ultimate success is to merge into the impersonal Brahman. Impersonal Brahman or bodily effulgence of Supreme Lord is known as Brahmaloka or Siddhaloka. According to Brahma Samhita, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanta Koti. Material universes are generated from the bodily rays of Supreme Personality of God. So when it says Brahman is the rays of bodily rays of Krishna. In one place, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Brahma Sukha, they feel some happiness in Brahman, but that Sukha is also because that Brahman is in relation to Krishna. Without Krishna, even there is no pleasure, no bliss. Yogi who follow the principle of Patanjali accept the personality of absolute truth, but they want to merge into the transcendental body of Supreme Lord. That is their desire. Being the greatest authority, the Supreme Lord can easily allow many millions of living entities to merge into his body. The origin of everything is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. His bodily effulgence is known as Brahma Jyoti, Brahmaloka or Siddhaloka. Thus, Brahmaloka, Siddhaloka is a place where many spark-like living entity, part and parts of the Supreme Lord, are assembled. Because these living entities do not wish to keep their individuality, they are combined and allowed to remain in the Brahmaloka like many atomic particles of sunshine emanating from the sun. So like a sunshine, a lot of sun is coming from the sun. So same way, the many soul, those who do not accept and those who want to lose the individuality, so they also become the part of Brahma Jyoti. It's like effulgence coming from the Lord. So effulging from the Lord, there are jivas which want to merge into the Brahman. So those jivas are become the race. Despite the transcendental qualities of the Lord Krishna's body, its full bliss and knowledge, there are many so-called scholars and commentators of Bhagavad Gita who derived Krishna as an ordinary man. Aujananti ma mula manushim tanamash param bhavam ajananto mam bhuta maheshwar. So like this, there are many places Prabhupada has explained. There is no difference between Krishna's inner self and outer self. Now Prabhupada criticizes Ramakrishna. He says not to Krishna but inner Krishna. So there is no difference between Krishna's inner and outer. If after accepting the spiritual master and being initiated, one does not follow the rules and regulation of devotional service, then he is again fallen. One must be very vigilant to remember that he is a part and parcel of the transcendental body of Krishna. That is his duty as a part and parcel to give service to the whole of Krishna. If we do not render service to Krishna, then again we are fall down. So when Krishna is descending here, he is descending by his own free will, and he comes with certain purpose, and mostly his main primary purpose to attract the jiva so that we can go back to his eternal abode and rightly situated there and become the integral part of the Leela of Krishna. So we'll be seeing further how Vidura, even Maitreya, when they were discussing, they were all went into the ecstasy. So when the Lord's pastimes are discussed, then Tusyanti cha ramanti cha, they will great satisfaction and happiness comes into the heart of devotee. I will stop there. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Prem Nande Hari Hari.